The next new healer is among us. Now we know that long games holds nothing back whenever they make them. That makes you really worry about what the next one could be. And here we are with Celica being the next new healer that we all should be questioning, because what this character has is just really unbelievable. She is the most versatile healer that we are gonna see. She is part of the Glory, Princess, and Duelist faction that can be Mage or Holy class, that will need Elise and Ymir for bonds. Her talent increases her healing while reducing the cooldown of her healing and support skills by 1. At the end of turn, she can replace the skill that she used with one of 2 or 3 random skills. And below are the abundance of skills that she can have, depending if they are 1 or 2 costs. Yeah, so we got something that is very similar to Girl in the Shell. You never know what you are truly going to be getting. The variety here is really worth it because of how much coverage that she can support. But I want to show you guys that she gets even more crazier stuff. She has a skill that heals while reducing the skill based on the cooldown to 0. That will prioritize the one with the longest cooldown, and its cooldown will be based on it. So if there's a skill that's on a 5-turn cooldown, while there being another skill that's on a 2-turn cooldown, it will prioritize the 5-turn cooldown first while making this skill a 5-turn cooldown. Well, technically 4 because of her talent. Her 2C gives an ally 3 stacks of armor affinity that will increase the gear effect by 15%, and this buff will get dispelled first, that's stacked 5 times. Now for a while, I used to believe that it would actually affect like equipments like the Forbidden Battle Armor. But apparently, it only affects enchants. And each stack increases by 15%. And 15 times 5 is 75. A 75% increase. Plus, when stuff like Clock is already a 30% chance to activate, makes it guaranteed. You know what other characters can do that? Kaguya, with the addition of having her equips be affected as well. I'm actually visioning this with my Angelina 3C with the Clock enchant. And I'm telling you guys, my Angelina is simply built different. For 3C skill, the passive on it, they're using a support skill or heal skill on an ally. She can use that skill again to the ally that has Mana Spirit. When she has it, her range increases by 2 and does more damage. This skill can cast Mana Spirit on an ally that gives extra healing, extra buff duration, and a revive. When the revive triggers, they lose Mana Spirit that reduces the 3C skill by 1 turn. She can act again after using this 3C. Mana Spirit cannot be removed, immunized, does not trigger her talent, and can only be applied to one ally at a time. And if you guys look carefully, there is no turn duration on this thing, so it's a permanent revive. Put this on a tank, and they'll have 2 permanent revives. Put this on someone like SP Lanford, and he will feel more like a tank. Put this on any attacker like Andrio Isolda, and they'll be busted. The passive is really huge for strategic ways of providing support such as healing and buffing. Even double healing too if your team are like close together, if you use something like Mass Heal, Miracle. Another huge note is the way how her talent works. I do really mean it when I say that it's very similar to Gitz. Whenever you see the new skills, it kind of organizes itself in like categories. So the skills on top are mainly the heal skills. The middle are mainly like buffs. The bottom are the attacking skills for the 1C, but the 2C are like the special buffs. Oh yeah, and she can even get her unique skills as well. What kind of surprised me is that she doesn't have mass attack. You guys see that one AoE skill right there? It feels so random, so I definitely would have replaced it with that. I mean, like, come on. She has a permanent revive. Why not just say screw it and give her it? She's already OP enough. I don't think I need to say much more. She's such a broken support character. The variety of coverage is insane, from having tons of different healing, buffs like giving a permanent revive, which sounds so unbelievable to be true, skill cooldown, as well as a huge 75% increase for enchants to activate, which is pretty much guaranteed. I honestly still like Rosen a bit more because of her immunity and tons of healing. She's the best to use for true sustain. Sure, Celica has a skill like that, but it's by pure luck and Rosen does it better. If you can survive hits, then Celica is the best choice to use if you need a support character. In PvP though, your situation is going to be a lot different. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Celica gets first picked. She just provides so much for the team that you're always going to be finding a use for her every single time. Next on the list is Ymir, someone that I felt like I was going to be very confused by at this point, but now I'm pretty sure I got a good understanding of him, and I realized how much of a cracked character he is. He's part of the Glory Dark Duelist faction that can be Demon or Holy, who needs Leobeck and Elise for bonds. His talent lets him do more damage at the start of battle, gets Flail of Glory, that reduces damage taken by 30% and immune to debuffs. When the immunity is triggered, gains Rage Surge. That increases the crit rate that stacks and cannot be dispelled. If he has Flail of Flame, at the end of his turn, if he has 4 or more stacks of Rage Surge, as well as being in the danger zone, it removes Flail, then he acts again without losing his buff duration. If he does not have Flail, if the enemy defense is higher than magic defense, then in battle, he does magic damage. Then afterwards, he gets Flail a glory back. He's able to be passive and aggressive really quick, like he can switch up pretty fast. He doesn't really get screwed over too. He's never going to be really worried about debuffs, and his skills will enable him to do a lot more. His 1C has a command where if other allies within 3 blocks dispels a debuff, he gets a Rage Surge stack. He can use this to heal, get 4 random buffs and debuffs. For each stack of Rage Surge, the cooldown of the skill and the amount of stacks gained are reduced by 1. This right here is actually his Act Again skill, because he can use this in the danger zone, get 4 stacks immediately, and then Act Again. He basically gets us back immediately, but he must already have those stacks beforehand. That's just one thing that you gotta know. If he used this without any surge stacks, sure, he gets 4 debuffs, he gets 4 stacks, but the cooldown won't activate. He must already have some rage stacks beforehand for the cooldown to actually work. His 2C is a single target that does more damage if the enemy has a debuff. He can inflict some himself before battle if he has rage surge stacks that can apply 4 debuffs max. 3C has a passive that gives 2 mobility if it does not have Flail of Glory. End of duration, each stack of Rage Surge restores his HP by 10%. It's a single target where if the enemy has a debuff, the enemy cannot revive in battle. Each stack of Rage Surge converts the enemy's buff into debuffs. If they don't die, he gets Rage Surge at the next round immediately if he has Glory. Otherwise, he can move 3 blocks, and the Revive Disable only works in PvP. What's funny to me about Ymir, they tell you that his skills does this one thing if the enemy has a debuff, when those skills can already do those. So it's always almost guaranteed when you use them. His Revive Disable is really unique, I kinda like that. It's not an actual debuff like you would normally see, so you have to make sure that he can actually one-shot stuff, which is very possible. His Rage stack can go way over 4. The highest that I've seen was like 12 stacks. And that's way over 100% crit rates. Blazing Sun would definitely be one of his best enchant for that 25% crit damage. What's also really great is that he can also heal way over 100% and apply more than 10 debuffs. So yeah, Ymir's gameplay is him switching off and on. When attacking, he loses his damage res and immunity in order to do some big damage, and when he's done or just not attacking at all, he's really bulky. He can sustain himself without having to rely on anyone. Ymir as a pure damage dealer can make a really strong addition to any kind of team because of how self-sufficient that he is. We only got one exclusive in this update for Apotheosis. It's a helmet where if he has 3 talent stacks, his talent debuff cannot be dispelled. When a demon holy enemy is within 3 blocks, it has an immunity. This one's also really funny considering that his transformation form can already do that besides bypassing immunity. Most of the time he's always going to be attacking like that, but considering how common holy units are, having it bypass stuff can be really clutch. You know, this one feels like a more like clutch mechanic than anything else. The first casting skill is for Leon. Everyone's gonna love this one. His chivalry lasts for 2 turns longer. After using this, he buffs up cavalry allies and they also get immunity, blast, and reinforcement buffs. OP is all I'm gonna say. Leon already kind of felt like a class faction buffer with his command effect. It didn't feel as huge, but it was still something to lead on. But this casting skill really solidifies him as our other class faction buffer in the game. Second is Clotaire. Upon that, he does fixed damage to enemies with Shattered Flame and refreshes the turn duration, which is honestly really nice because Clotaire does feel useless after his 3C. Now with this one, there will be some second guessing under his pressure. He's no longer a free kill. Third is for Duelist. After using her 3C on an enemy with Chain of Vengeance, the cooldown is reduced by 2. When killed, it reduces it by an additional 1 turn. The only one huge note about her 3C is that it does give her healing, which could be a nice thing to get for a consistent healing. I kinda wish that it does a tiny bit more. Fourth is Varna, which is just more talent range, which isn't really anything special. They could have definitely tried way harder than this. It could have been better even if it's by a little. Some of the interesting banners that we got is a raid up with Polly and Nemia that should come in the second week. Nemia is the best archer character in the game. She's really usable as a damage dealer, and there's Polly if you like rushing in PvP. There's a Destiny banner with Grand Shield that arrives on the 3rd week. She's a strategy faction buffer, a decent damage dealer, but nowadays we can treat her as just bond unlocker for Edon Camo and Awakener. There is another banner which never made it in this update in CN. It just featured some old characters with a guaranteed chance if you summon long enough. I'm not really gonna go much into it because I feel like we most likely will not get this one, but you know, global is always different, so you never know. As for the content, a new Portal Leap chapter, Celica workshop, all you do is missions to get rewards, new territory missions, a new formable event where you can get Elise free, which is really surprising since they haven't really done this in like 4 years. During the first year, our first free SSR character was Bozo, then Gerald and Layla, so it makes me quite glad that they're doing this again. Plus we do get 20 extra SSR shards. Nice change that's really nice is the way how we look at talents. Before, for a long while, we had to scroll to see the rest of the character's talent, and they were pretty small too. Like at most we saw like 5 words before we had to like look at the next line. But after this update, the talent description will display everything about the talent. Some other extra stuff that we will most likely get are the Anarchy slot machine thing, all stage unlock for the Anarchy and casting stages, extra Sacred Realm chances, more gold from daily missions, and faster value from the floating city. With the new skins, an Echo alike for Celica and Ymir. His glow up still surprises me. I really do like the design. Apparently, this was how he looked like before he got that zombie look. I got no clue what happened in the story, but I feel like Ymir went through a lot of stuff. In the store, a school theme skin for Noemi, and we may get more summer skins. A few got revealed in the recent CN update, like Grand Shield, Kaguya, Z2, and Girl in the Shell. Usually holiday skins get released on all servers, so it's a possibility that we get them early. Then, a martial artist skin for Elise. Quite the perfect time for an event dedicated to her. So that was about everything, if not most of everything that Global Side are getting. Honestly, can't wait for both of these characters. Even for newer players, these two characters are really amazing to start out. You get a very strong support character and a very strong damage dealer to get you through lots of the content. They're gonna be very reliable. Celica would be the best choice to get because she has the best synergy with a lot of characters, so she will be the most important. But yeah, gonna keep this outro really short. So if you guys did enjoy this video, feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more, and feel free to let me know down in the comments how you guys feel about this update. How do you guys feel about like the new broken healer that we got? I'm sure that she's a must summon for a lot of people at this point. So yeah, thanks for watching. Your fellow Z.